15 seconds.
This is Rod Bramlett, voice of the Auburn Tigers. Listen to Tiger Talk Monday nights at 7 on your official Auburn IMG Sports Network station, Kowaliga Country 97.5.
Okay, when JJ gets done, it is yours. Gonna feed it to you now.
SEC and around the nation. This is the Saturday Sports Countdown. To be a part of the program, call 256-234-6221. Now, let's join Brett, Randy, and Lou for the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Good Saturday morning out there to everybody, and welcome into the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett Pritchard and Andy Graham here with you till noon today. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. As every Saturday, we are live from JR's Sports Bar and Grill right here in downtown Alexander City. Andy, I walk in this morning, they've already cooked up about 300 and something wings back there, and getting it ready for people's orders as we have another big college football Saturday on tap. It's beautiful outside. It's a perfect fall day. You need to get out and about, and if you're in downtown Alex City or if you're coming through Alex City, you need to make JR's your destination. Give them a call, 256-329-2328 for the best food around, and I would rival it anywhere in the Tri-County area here. So you come on by, but we want to thank everybody for listening on 95.9 down in the Auburn, Opelika area. It's a big night for high school football last night. We're going to recap those games in the first couple, if not three segments, and kind of set the stage. There were some upsets last night. Andy, when you and I on Sports Call thought we had just had it all figured out in high school football, then we get humbled.
Yeah, we thought that Daphne Spanish Fort would be an interesting game. Obviously, Spanish Fort missing their quarterback. We'd wondered when that was going to show up. It hadn't showed up for the last couple of weeks, but Daphne goes down there, shuts out Spanish Fort. And that's, I don't think anybody saw that one coming. We had thought, of course, Auburn had struggled all this year. They finally, get a win last week over a poor Lee team, but come home, we think they have no shot to beat Prattville, and they just wiped the floor with them. High school football is totally unpredictable.
Yeah, I don't think it's as unpredictable as NFL, but it's right up there with them for sure. College football too can shock you a little bit, but not as much as high school because again, if you look at the two seasons for Auburn and Prattville, there really is no rhyme or reason for Auburn to blow them out. Now, to win the game, yeah, probably had a good chance to play tough and then win in the end, but I mean, it wasn't even close. It was a win right out of the gate for Auburn. Not like Prattville could ever get anything going. We'll break that game down, plus all the games from Lee County, Russell County, and right here in Tallapoosa County. We'll take your calls, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program here this morning on Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, all of you that have tuned us in throughout the state of Alabama on Charter Communications Channel 80, Channel 3 here in the Lake Martin area for the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. And we dedicate a good bit of the first part of the program to high school football. And we'll start there, Andy. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to talk about throughout the whole show. And then we'll run down scores from last night. Man, there was some shockers out there. I mean, the more I'm looking at it right here, the more I just scratch my head as we head into the playoffs in a couple of weeks. Some teams only have one game left. Some have two games left, depending on when you started the regular season. But we'll dive into high school here in just a little bit. Andy, also college football, a ton on tap today. Of course, Auburn not playing today. They have the week off. They'll have South Carolina coming in next Saturday. But Alabama with a big one at home against Texas A&M. We'll preview that game, talk a lot about that. A lot of people, the more I talked last night after the game and had some people come over and we were hanging out, more and more people starting to think, and then these Alabama fans, a little bit skittish of this game today.
I think so, and I think with good reason. Again, you look at the last couple of years, I don't think Alabama has struggled more with anybody than Kevin Sumlin and his offense. They have put up monster numbers against Nick Saban in that defense. This year, Kenny Hill, while they have lost 2 games in a row, they continue to put up big chunks of yardage. They continue to score points. I would expect this game to be very, very interesting. It'll come down to whether the Alabama offense can come together. They struggled mightily last week against Arkansas. So, is the implosion impending, that we talked about at the beginning of the year? I said that last night. I'm going to stick with it for some reason, for whatever. I just have a feeling. I don't pick Alabama to lose very often, but this is my upset of the year. I think Texas A&M goes in and wins this game.
Well, I think it's obvious that Texas A&M has the firepower to get it done. Will Alabama's offense show up is the question. I think their defense is going to definitely play good. Kenny Hill is going to get his yards, though. Texas A&M will score points. Can Alabama's offense keep up with that? That's the question. And Blake Sims will need to have a great day today. Kenny Hill, in the loss to Ole Miss, still went for 400 and something yards. I mean, so even in losses, they put up big chunks of yards, and he really made 2 bad throws. He had 1 pick six, and then Ole Miss scored on the other turnover as well. If you take those out, game's pretty close. I mean, it's dead even, actually. So you need to focus on how can you keep up with an A&M team. I mean, A&M doesn't play any defense, so that's going to be the key for Alabama. They struggled against Arkansas running the football last week. Can they get the running game going against a very putrid defense against the run in Texas A&M?
Yeah, I guess a big question is how much better is the Arkansas defense than Texas A&M? I'm not sure it's that much different.
I'm not sure either.
I've watched Arkansas play several times this year. Now, they did a fair job against Texas A&M, shutting them down. So, it's a very interesting matchup. You have, again, Texas A&M coming off 2 losses, Alabama coming off a loss and an ugly win. These 2 teams finding out where they're going to go. Is Texas A&M headed for that 4-loss season that we thought in the beginning of the year, and then it all changed our minds after the South Carolina game?
Well, they're halfway there.
Is this the season that Alabama loses more than 1 or 2 games for the first time since 2010? This is the game that's probably going to decide, which direction both these teams are headed.
Well, and I don't think Texas A&M, you didn't ask me really about them being a pretender or contender yesterday on Sports Call. I think they're
out.
I think they're a pretender. I think they're out, but I think they're dangerous and can beat somebody like us in a few weeks at Auburn or today at Alabama, or both of us. I'm not saying that they couldn't come in and beat both of us, but, here's the week that you start to see for teams whether they'll be out of the race or not. And if Alabama loses this game, I think that they're out. I mean, a lot of things, they wouldn't be completely dead. They'd have a small pulse left, but for the most part, it would be almost impossible to fight your way back, because losing to Texas A&M, they drop out of the top 15 probably. And it would be a tall task and a climb, because there's so many other teams up there with a shot to get in that 4-team playoff. We want to hear from you. 256-234-6221. Our prediction score today throughout the show is Alabama, Texas A&M. Blake Sims' passing yards is the tiebreaker. And so can Blake Sims get it on track? Can he do enough for this team and this Lane Kiffin offense to pull out a win at home? You got to give them the advantage because they're at Bryant-Denny. But again, Texas A&M has proven it doesn't really matter where they play. They're just as dangerous. They may be the X factor, Andy, where home field I know is important for them, but they don't seem to be shaken much when they go on the road. They play pretty well on the road. They started off outstanding against Mississippi State and then went flat, and Mississippi State kind of took it to them there toward the end of the game. But, they can come in, and Kenny Hill, you got to get some pressure. You can't let him sit back there, throw the football. But we're going to talk about that Alabama game later on in the program. A lot of other games on tap: Stanford at Arizona State, Washington at Oregon, Kansas State at Oklahoma, Notre Dame at Florida State. That'll be a big one tonight at 7 o'clock. Tennessee at Ole Miss. Can Tennessee shock the world and beat Ole Miss and Oxford?
No.
And there's a quick answer there. Clemson at Boston College, Missouri at Florida, Florida, I think, even as bad as they played, they may slaughter Missouri. They may have a coming out party tonight at home. Oklahoma State at TCU, that's a battle of top 15 teams there. Kentucky at LSU, I think that one is extremely interesting. I don't know. I can't wait to see that game and see how that plays out. Georgia Tech at North Carolina, Georgia at Arkansas. Without Todd Gurley, we'll talk about that situation some more, as he did not travel with Georgia, so it'll be on the back of Nick Chubb again to get it done running the football. UAB at Middle Tennessee State, and UAB 4-2, Middle Tennessee 4-3. If they beat Middle Tennessee, they're well on their way to a bowl game. Well on their way. 2:30 kickoff at Middle Tennessee, and then Texas A&M, as we talked about, at Alabama. That's the slate of games for today. We'd love to hear from you. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. A lot of crazy games last night, and when we come back on Saturday Sports Countdown, we'll start running down the scores from last night, talking about some of these region standings.
Perhaps somebody can call in from Auburn and explain what happened last night in Doug Sanford.
We would love to hear from somebody that was at the Auburn high school football game last night. And, I hate to say this, and we don't really talk about it a lot in high school, but, that was not what Chad Anderson needed at Prattville. They were setting themselves up, looked like they had turned the corner at Prattville and we're playing really good. And then, a demolition derby last night on the road. So when we come back, we'll talk about that game and all the games from the local area. Folks, we're just getting started here on a beautiful Saturday morning right here from JR Sports Bar and Grill. We'd love for you to be part of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz, Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR's right after this.
You can't see the morning, but I can see the light. Let it slide.
On Tap is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Over the years, SNS Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. SNS Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at SNS offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, SNS offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At SNS Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day. If you're looking for the best chicken fingers or wings in town, then look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Ellick City. Order my favorite, the Wing Basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab claws, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing on taste. Check out their Facebook page for daily lunch specials. JR's can also cater any special event from weddings to tailgate parties and has a huge party room for any special occasion. Stop by soon at JR Sports Bar and Grill at their location right off Highway 22 in Ellick City.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. In our office, we see many cases where drinking and driving has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. Teenage drinking and driving causes thousands of preventable deaths each year. Parents, please help by taking steps to discourage your teen from ever drinking and driving, and by making sure that they understand the dangers involved.
This message brought to you by personal injury attorney Dane Sharp, located at 134 North Broadnax Street in Dadeville, Alabama. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. In all sports, it takes hard work, passion, and teamwork. That's how we have treated our customers for over 45 years. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with the service department.
Coming up on a minute. One minute. 45.
45. Auburn season life back.
30.
Came out swinging.
Is that a region game?
Yeah.
Wow.
They still got a chance to make the playoff.
That's shocking.
37-7.
20. And how about Auburn? They started off horribly, lost to Enterprise, and now they're beating Prattville.
That's what we're just talking about. Number 3 Prattville, by the way, in 7-0.
Yeah.
No longer.
And now that Spanish Fort fell,
they did clinch a playoff.
They dropped to All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Waiting for the break of day.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill right here in downtown Alexander City. Brett Pritchard and Andy Graham here with you till noon today. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. Boy, it just is a refreshing day to wake up on a Saturday and see the weather the way it is. Andy, it just gets you fired up, and right in the dead middle of football season, toward the end of high school season, just makes you want to get out and about and come on by JR Sports Bar and Grill and get some outstanding food. If you're going to have a watch party today at home, if you're heading to Tuscaloosa to the game to watch Alabama, Texas A&M, come on by. Our prediction score is Alabama, Texas A&M, tiebreaker, Bleak Sims, passing yards, and you can give us a call or you can send us a Facebook message or tweet us your prediction if you don't like to call. There's a lot of you that listen out there and just rather not get on the air. And had somebody come up to me the other night, Andy, right here in JR's, and said, I've got something I want y'all to talk about on the air. And I said, well, why don't you just call in? Did we lose connection there?
Oh, I think we did for a second.
Maybe didn't want me to say that. But anyway, he came up to me and said, I want you to say this on the air. And I said, why don't you call in? And they didn't like me when I say, why don't you call in? So he said, I don't do that. He said, I don't call in. So he said, why don't you just explain it? I said, okay, I'll take care of you. But give us a call or tweet us or send us a message out on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. We had a tweet out there. What was your most shocking score of last night? We had one response already that said the Daphne Spanish Fort game. On Sports Call yesterday, you and I talked about it. I said Daphne probably had a chance to win that game, had a decent shot. Tyler Johnston, not the quarterback anymore at Spanish Fort with the torn ACL, out for the rest of the year. They have struggled scoring points the last couple of weeks. They struggled against Blunt last week, and this time it jumps up to bite them. It ended a 31-game winning streak for Spanish Fort last night, and they fell 7-0. But still a very good football team. They have a 3-way tie down there in that region now with Sarah Land and Daphne, all of them sitting at 4-1 in the region. So if they all went out, you're going to have to go to the tiebreaker system, and that thing gets a little hairy. We don't have enough time to go into all that. But we'll start with Auburn and Prattville. I think that's a fitting place to start here in this region as the Auburn high school Tigers pull out the win of the year for them. No doubt about it. They have not had a good season to this point. They improved to 3-5 on the season, but 3-2 in their region. That's the important thing. When region play comes around, those games are the ones that punch your ticket to the playoffs. And for the 14th consecutive year, Auburn High School, which looked like it was in dire straits, will make it to the playoffs, Andy.
3 wins on the season right now, and they'll make the playoffs. It's odd, but again, like you say, region play. That's what it's all about, and getting those region wins. And you find yourself like Auburn does. In the middle toward the end of the season now, you feel like what are you playing for? And a team like Prattville comes in. However, I don't know what the motivation was, but I don't know if it's just one of those games where everything went right. I don't know. Was there a lot of turnovers in the game? I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, Auburn gets the momentum. They play their best game of the season, and now they're going to make the playoffs. And now you feel a lot better about yourself moving forward.
Well, now you just erase all that and say, look, it's going to be a new season in a couple of weeks. And the story is that Kingston Davis for Prattville High School was the running back coming into the game, had over 750 some odd yards coming into the game rushing, was held to just 23 yards on 15 carries last night and had one 16-yard run in the final minute of the game. So you want to talk about no running game at all last night for Prattville. On the other side, we've seen this guy. I've called him in the state championship game, Tyus Flakes. Very talented tailback for Auburn. Had a great game against Hoover last year in the state championship game. He showed out 24 carries, 141 yards. And Bradley Northcutt was 8 of 9 passing for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. 17-0 midway through the second quarter, and they never looked back.
Where's it been?
Where's it been? Well, this is the Auburn team we all thought we were looking for this year, and we're all a little bit stunned. And Coach Carter mentioned that he was very proud that they battled. They could have easily folded the tent, had a lot to play for. Their backs against the wall, literally. If they lose this one, they probably were completely out of the mix. But they're dead now in the heart of it. Prattville was number 3 in the state in 7A. They come into their place. They defend their home turf there, Andy. What can you say? The kids were resilient last night at Auburn High School. They found a way to get it done. And, Prattville is left scratching their head. And there is a 3-way tie between them, Enterprise, and Prattville now for that 3rd spot. So, Smith Station on tap next week for Auburn. Smith Station only with 1 win in the region. So if Auburn can – but again, let me say this. Don't count it as a win yet, Auburn high school fans, because if you're looking at Dayville, we'll talk about that game here in a minute. Dayville upset Leeds, the number 1 team in 4A last week, and they turn around and play a good Elmore County team and lose 14-9. From one week to the next, you better show up and be ready to play. So – Auburn has clinched themselves a berth at 3-2, but you would think that they would love to continue to build off what they had last night, Andy, as they head into the playoffs.
Yeah, you talk about they could have folded the 10. They had to come from behind to beat Lee last week. I thought they had folded the 10s. I thought the tents were safely tucked away in the utility room. Okay, and now they come out and have this game. And again, as we said, high school football is very unpredictable. You mentioned the Dayville Leeds game. I don't think anybody outside of Dayville thought that Dayville had much of a chance to win that game. And then they turn around, they upset them, and then they get upset this week. So Dayville had an opportunity to be region champions after beating Leeds. In a season where they've lost more games than they've lost in the last 4 or 5 years. So it just kind of crazy. It's a crazy season. It's been kind of up and down, on the college level. And it's up and down on the high school level. It's a fun season, and there's still more to come.
Yeah, there's a lot more to come. Opelika fans got a little restless when Chilton County cut it to 24-20, and they were sitting there probably going, this is a weird night. We had a weird one at the Sportsplex last night with Benjamin Russell Valley. It was just, we're getting close to Halloween.
I guess
stuff starts to happen. But Opelika hit another gear, scored 43 unanswered points and won 66-20 over Chilton County. But, Opelika got off to a very sloppy, slow start, according to Coach Blackman here. But they did end up winning convincingly. 7-1 overall, 6-0 in the region. Benjamin Russell solidified the 2nd seed last night with a win over Valley, 44-28. That saw Valley score on 3 huge plays. A kickoff return for a touchdown, a 61-yard touchdown pass in the dead middle of the field, just a jump ball that gets tipped and it goes to another receiver and he runs in. But, you have those plays, and all of a sudden you look up on the scoreboard and they're within 10 points with a ball inside your 10. And things start to get a little bit interesting, but Benjamin Russell held. And we'll continue to talk about these games and run down more scores from this area and throughout the state when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's right after this.
Clear.
Never told you the story.
When you think team, you were looking What'd you say, Dan? I'm sorry. I'm pulling it up. Yes, 24/7. Got that, Clay? Stanhope or Carver, one. We just look so much different. Tyree's making throws, sprinting out, making throws on the run. It's right on the money. I'm like, what in the? Let's go. Kids just got so much confidence. It shows. You see the kid that came in here Thursday, sitting over there with his mom. Was the player? That was him. I got Andy T before we don't put the foot. Oh, it is? I'll dump that out. He sipped on it. He went, that's not sweet. Hey.
Come on forward. That's good.
We didn't touch it.
I didn't.
That thing come in here. Annabelle. Annabelle.
I don't know part of it. I don't like dolls. It freaked me out.
Need to talk about Ben Russell real quick. Dave will just, man, what in the world? Hey, that's the Jekyll and Hyde bunch down there. Real Town's good. They beat a good team last night, 28-14. Well, they always good, aren't they?
Be interesting to see if they can continue that next year and the years beyond.
They're number two. I mean, they're
I'd
good.
love for them to win it all.
All right, we got about a minute 15, maybe a minute 10. Two things here. Jerome in Alex City is holding. I guess probably wants to give his prediction. And then I also have Luke. But keep in mind, whenever you switch, whenever Jerome hangs up, you got to give me about 10 seconds to allow me to switch over to Luke because I got to pick up his line and then patch him in.
I'll give you plenty of time.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. All right, I'll send you a text message when Luke's ready.
All right, perfect. You're the man.
And Jerome is ready now. All right, and now we've got
Jerome's
about coming up
ready.
on 30 seconds.
From Stacey Mills, not sure what happened, but I did see 4 starters in street clothes. I think something went down this week. I'll find out later. For Prattville. Usually you can look back to something like that when there's a they shouldn't have got throttled like that though.
Marketing Group. For signage, tees, web design, and more, call on LMG today at 256-825-0197.
Hey, Santa.
Oh, Bill, it is a lovely day. 3, 2, 1.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard, Andy Graham here with you. till noon today as we ease you in this Saturday morning. And beautiful Saturday morning it is, out and about. Please stop by JR's and see us or give us a call, 256-234-6221. Remember, you can tweet us, and also on Facebook, you can send us a message that way. And it's at Sportz Blitz, and it's sports with a Z out there for all of you. The prediction score, Alabama and Texas A&M. Tiebreaker is passing yards for Blake Sims. Andy, let's go to the phone lines. Jerome in Alex City, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Yes, I just want to call in and say congratulations to the Wildcats last night. I want you to, if you got the numbers on that guy from Valley, and he threw all them touchdowns. Really, they got lucky. There was about 3 plays there, but he threw the ball up like you were saying earlier. It was tipped by one of our guys. And it landed, and the guy was out there, and he just run right on. I don't know, there was one like 80 yards, and then there was a couple about, seemed like 70 or 60 or something. Anyway, but we made that good last drive. That defense held up there now. Kowaliga could have scored easily. They were there on the, wasn't it the 10-yard line? And then Edison City kept pushing them back a little bit, and we stopped them. And and then that last play that we made, we kept running the time out. The time, that was the best play. That last little bit that Benjamin Russell drove down and scored that last touchdown, that was the best plays of the night because we kept the ball and we was right on target from everything. I would have liked to know what that guy is. He a senior or whatever, but he come back next year, the guy from Valley. But but if that guy could have hit just about everybody he threw, probably been in bad shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jerome. But we've got a good defense, and they played pretty well. They got lucky a few times. I'll be honest with you. They didn't really sustain any drives on us whatsoever. But big plays are part of the game, and Benjamin Russell will go back to the table and do some work on that.
I told everybody I talked to last night too. We got the best defense this year than we did last year, even though we did have a good defense last year, and we had a good offense. But I think our defense this year is stepped up and looking very good. Because we had stopped some teams that was fitting to score. Our defense held up. So, but anyway, I'm going to give my prediction for Alabama and Texas A&M. Alabama 45. Texas A&M 32, and the passing yard, and he'll get about at 200 yards more.
200 for Blake Sims. Jerome, as always, Jerome, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. And
what class is the Valley quarterback? Do you know?
I called his name all night last night, and I think he is either a junior or a senior. I'll have to go back and double check that. I know Janice Lowe came in, and really Spark Valley came in off the bench and played a little bit of quarterback and threw some really good passes and threw a touchdown pass himself. So just made some. It was a beautiful throw in the back corner of the end zone that Lowe threw to score. And look, credit Valley for fighting back, and they got down there inside our 10-yard line after after it looked like the wheels were starting to fall off a little bit. A.J. Russell went down with a knee injury, kind of took the wind out of the stadium, not just the sails of the team, but the stadium. And, it was hard to try to get back on track a little bit. But that last drive was very convincing for Benjamin Russell after we held them, right there where they could have cut it to 7 or 3. We decided that we'd step up on defense, hold them, and then we drove it the length of the field and put the final score on the board to end the game. Let's go to the phone lines again. Luke, you're on Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey, guys. How are y'all today?
Good, man. How are you?
Just chilling in the quad right now. It's absolutely gorgeous day for a football game, no doubt about that.
Yeah, it is outstanding, and I know you traveled up to Tuscaloosa to take that in, the A&M Alabama game, and I want to get your thoughts about that game next. But I do want to talk about high school football, as continuously you sent me shocking updates last night as I was calling the Benjamin Russell game, myself and Randy Lee on this station. We continued to see scores pop up from all over the state that just made us scratch our head. And you had the scoreboard show last night with JJ. Talk about some of these games, and we just started with Auburn and Prattville. Man, that was one that just blew our mind completely.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming. But, Auburn's got plenty of talent, and I think that it was a year's worth of frustration taken out on the Prattville Lions, no doubt about it. And I don't think Prattville saw it coming, obviously. I mean, that team, Prattville is better than that. And quite frankly, Auburn probably isn't that good. But I think it was just a perfect storm for Auburn. And, here's the thing. Auburn's still got a chance to make the playoffs now. And if they get into the playoffs, they're in the top. They have top 10 talent. They haven't played like a top 10 team, obviously. I mean, they've got a losing record, I believe, but they've got top 10 talent. So what if you're number 1 seed and you end up having to play Auburn, who ends up being a number 4 seed from their region? I mean, it seems almost unfair. It's one of those things like playing Kentucky. That's what I made the analogy to. It's like playing Kentucky when they're an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you just don't want to do it. I don't care what their record is. Auburn's got plenty of talent. They got plenty of history. They're the defending state runner-up.
Luke, I just mentioned to solidify what you just said, they have clinched for the 14th consecutive year a postseason berth. They have a 3-2 record in the region. And, I'm with you. They're a team that you don't want to see that you've got to play. They're not your normal 3 or 4 seed that's going to have to travel to somebody's stadium. And, all 3 of their wins on the year, they're 3-5 overall, but all 3 of their wins are in region play, and that's what punches your ticket to the playoffs. And they've got Smith Station left. I think they can win that game. The way high school football is, you don't count your chickens before they hatch, but they'll improve to 4-2 on the season with a win next week at Smith Station and a 4-5 overall record. And look, you want to be playing your best football coming down the stretch, and that may be what Auburn's about to do.
Oh, there's no question. And speaking of Smith Station, I mean, you talk about a team that's just falling apart. They've lost 3 in a row. They've got some pretty good talent in their own right. They were ranked. It seems like last week. I know it wasn't last week. It just seems that way. And I don't know what exactly has happened to them. And also, kudos to Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis has really picked it up. I know they ended up losing last night, but something we've always talked about is we want the Montgomery City schools to be good again. It feels like it's not really high school football unless you have some of those Montgomery powers participating, like Robert E. Lee or Jeff Davis or Sidney Lanier. Now, granted, all 3 of those teams have been down for quite a few years now, but Jeff Davis is starting to make a move, and they put up a heck of a fight last night.
They did against Phoenix City, and it was nip and tuck. Ended up losing 31-20 to Phoenix City. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of parity in 7A. And, it's weird when you go back and look at that Smith Station record. They're 5-4, but they're only 1-4 in the region. And you look at Auburn, they're 3-5 overall, but 3-2 in the region. And that's the difference there. And it's region records that make you decide whether you go to the playoffs or not. And looks like Smith Station not going to make it, and Auburn is. But, Luke, one more high school score, and then we'll move into Alabama. Spanish Fort, a 31-game winning streak out the door. They lose 7-0 to the school they split from. Spanish Fort was born out of Daphne. It's a rival game down there. We talked about it on Sports Call yesterday afternoon as a game to watch because Tyler Johnston is no longer the quarterback. Injured his knee a few weeks ago. Daphne, we felt like, had a shot to beat them, and they did last night. Now there's a 3-way tie in that region between Daphne, Spanish Fort, and Saraland for the top spot.
Yeah, and it's just somehow how the schedule works out. I believe Tyler Johnson actually got hurt against Saraland, and if you're Saraland, you're thinking, why couldn't we have played them at the end of the year? without Tyler Johnson. I mean, I know everybody can say we want to play somebody when they got their best players, et cetera, but in the end, you're all going for the best region record that you can get. But last night, Javon Brown throws an interception with 32 seconds left, and Spanish Ford was driving. But look, this isn't all on Javon Brown. I mean, he's a backup quarterback who had played well the few starts he had because of Tyler Johnson's injury. And what I said last night, it holds true, is that once people begin to see your backup and they get film on him and they know how to stop him, then all of a sudden things get a little bit harder. It was okay for Javon Brown at the very first when he took over because nobody knew anything about him. Everybody had been staying for Tyler Johnson. Now you get a couple of weeks under your belt, and all of a sudden Daphne coaches can review film of what he looks like against some of the other teams he's played, and they figure out how to stop him. And it sounds like they did a great job last night to shut them out.
Yeah, they did. And crazy scores. We'll continue to run those down here during this segment and end up high school. But let's flip over to Alabama while we got you on the phone. You're up in Tuscaloosa. It's a beautiful day. Should be a raucous crowd at 2:30 for that kickoff. Texas A&M comes in. Kenny Hill still throws for over 400 yards last week against Ole Miss in the loss. A couple of turnovers that really hurt Texas A&M in that game. Just give me your overall analysis of how you think this game's going to go down.
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a lot closer than most of the people are predicting. At least the Las Vegas line is. It's moved from 11 to 14 in Alabama's favor, and I just don't understand where that's coming from. It feels like this is going to be a closer game. Now, having said that, what exactly has Texas A&M done? I mean, we all fell in love with them because they were the first team we saw on a Thursday night at South Carolina. Well, it turns out South Carolina's not that great. They're not really good at all, to be quite honest with you. And since then, Texas A&M, the only teams they played an Arkansas team that frankly had them beat. They played, let's see, they played, who else did they play? They played Ole Miss, who beat up on them really well. And they played Mississippi State, who also took care of them pretty handily. So it's going back to Texas A&M as the team that can put up all these points and put up all these yards, and that's fantastic. But if you can't stop anybody, what does it matter? I mean, if you end up scoring 31 and the other team scores 48, then it's not going to end up being a very nice year for you. And here's the thing, Alabama now has begun to play this type of offense more and more often. So everybody keeps saying it's Alabama's Achilles heel. Well, they're getting more and more used to it. And as much as a problem it is for Alabama, it's a problem for everybody. And Alabama typically still holds these teams, even Auburn last year in their rushing game, holds them below their average. So, I don't know. The question for me is not Alabama's defense. I think they'll do their job today. I'm worried about Alabama's offense. Here's what I'm hoping is that now that Alabama's at home, that's where Blake Sims plays better. So that's where my hope's resting.
Well, it'll be a fun game to watch as, Alabama and Auburn, neither one can really ill afford. They can lose another game and still have a small pulse, but with the way the teams are broken down now and so many one-loss teams and no-loss teams left in the country, it would be nearly impossible with two losses with the remaining schedules for both Auburn and Alabama to have a shot at getting that 14 playoff. So you kind of start playing when you're back against the wall in some urgency. It'll be a fun game to watch. Luke, we appreciate your call, buddy.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks so much. And getting close to a break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown as we hear the music play. And we'll go ahead and take the break. We'll finish up high school, Andy, and then second hour will be full-fledged into college football. So looking forward to that. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's right after this.
You are clear.
Luke's probably right. Texas A&M put up 600 yards. 2 years ago, they put up 500 yards. They can run the ball. But if they stink like they did, I think Texas A&M could beat them. I could be totally wrong.
Okay, we're getting close here, guys. Less than a minute here. Come on back. Come on, guys.
Brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, both homeowners and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance.
You got less than 10 seconds.
234-5026.
Let me know when you are ready.
Roll it to me, buddy.
All right, here we go in 3. Oh, yeah, by the way, we went long on the last one, so you only have 3 minutes on this segment. We're taking a break at 10:50. I'll send the music.
10:40.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett Pritchard, Andy Graham here with you till noon. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. We'll wrap it up here in an abbreviated segment, about 3 minutes in this segment. We'll run down some scores from last night, and we'll start 7A. We've talked about the Auburn game. They destroyed Prattville 37-7. It was Phoenix City holding on 31-20 over Jeff Davis. Hewitt-Trussville 28, Mountain Brook 10. Hoover shuts out Vestavia 42-0. They continue their winning streak in the state of Alabama. Oak Mountain with a 34-27 win over Spain Park. So those are some scores from 7A. Moving down to 6A, it was Benjamin Russell 44, Valley 28 in a back-and-forth affair last night at the Sportsplex. Carver Montgomery picks up a win 28-17 over Dothan, the number one team in 6A. Clay Chalkville 42-8 over Woodlawn, and I mean the number one team now because Spanish Fort goes down to Daphne 7-0 last night. Homewood 28-14 winners over Hueytown. McAdory wins 28-6 over Brookwood. Pelham 47, John Carroll nothing. Parks Crossing continues to run rampant down in Montgomery. 39-6 winners over Russell County, and Opelika 66-20 winners over Chilton County. Down in 5A in a big one we haven't talked about yet, Beauregard and Tallahassee. Beauregard defeats Tallahassee 49-34. That was a back-and-forth game there. A lot of points scored as Beauregard pulls away late to defeat Tallahassee 49-34. Central Clay County, huge win over Sylacauga last night, 24-17. It was Charles Henderson 30, Rehoboth 7. Moving on down the line and looking, Sidney Lanier defeated Alabama Christian 25-14. St. Paul's, the number one team in 5A, defeated Escambia County 49-12, and it was Viger 21, Williamson 6. In 4A, we'll run down a few scores. It was Deschler right there at the top, 40-14 winners over Brooks. Leeds gets back in the win column with a 42-7 win over Childersburg after losing to Dayville last week. Talking about that Dayville team, Dayville falls 14-9 to Elmore County. Been a true roller coaster season for the Dayville Tigers. North Jackson knocks off Aniana, the defending 4A state champs, 52-27. So, again, a loss there for Aniana. They'll try to get back on the right side of things next week. And UMS Wright's your number one team in 4A now, 55-0 winners over Monroe County. Good luck when you draw UMS Wright.
It's their region. It's their classification.
No doubt about it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be in the college section of our show. We'll hear from you. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. More of the Sports Blitz, Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR's right after this.
Clear.
Is it? For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson.
Yeah, King Griffey Jr. and Brett
Favre
brands,
including Green, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to
he has. It looks like Barry Bonds or
to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
If you're looking for the best chicken fingers or wings in town, then look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Elliott City. Order my favorite, the Wing Basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab claws, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing on taste. Check out their Facebook page for daily lunch specials. JR's can also cater any special event from weddings to tailgate parties and has a huge party room for any special occasion. Stop by soon at JR Sports Bar and Grill at their location right off Highway 22 in Elliott City.
Halloween is not the scariest thing in fall. Your football team blowing the big game isn't that bad. If you want terror this season, just let your boat not get winterized. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South can save you that unwanted terror by winterizing all makes, models, and types of boats to ensure you don't have the bad luck of the Irish in March. Alex City Marine specializes in all inboards and outboards for the cold weather and now offers custom shrink wraps to protect everything for the winter and preserve your peace of mind. Don't let old man winter get to your boat. Go to the place the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City or Alex City Marine South just before or after the Kowaliga Bridge in Eclectic.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier for Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com.
Okay, got about a minute 15.
Go straight to the source. SignSource.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884, riverregionsportsfields.com.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box
40
store.
seconds.
Say what you doing.
I'm checking inventory in all of our departments.
Well, you're Russell. I thought you sold lumber to contract.
No. We have lots of home improvement items like nails, nuts, and bolts.
That's the launch sequence.
And the experts to give advice to.
Okay.
Paints and lawn and garden, windows, doors, and cabinets, all at our low price guarantee.
Okay. I get it. I guess I was selling you a little short.
Y'all's new intro.
Me? Short? Really?
Saturday Sports Countdown.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 3 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's big green egg and accessories headquarters.
And 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful Saturday morning out there, and we'd love to have you come on out and hang out with us here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. For the Saturday Sports Countdown, we'll be with you till noon. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. Brett Pritchard and Andy Graham here with you and getting you kicked off. College football about to kick off here in just a few minutes for the first few games, and then a full slate of college football, an interesting night in high school football, and we want to hear from you. Our prediction score is Alabama and Texas A&M. Blake Sims is the tiebreaker. How many passing yards will he have? Give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program, Andy, and we'll start right there again with Alabama, Texas A&M. 2:30 kick, Bryant-Denny Stadium. This point spread has gone up to 14. So started at 11. You just heard Luke say it went up 3 in favor of Alabama. He's kind of wondering where that's coming from. A lot of times Vegas knows what they're doing. Obviously, they don't feel like Kenny Hill's going to bring that A&M Aggie team in here to get it done. They probably feel like Blake Sims, like Luke said, plays better at home, and he may turn on the Jets today.
Well, Alabama certainly has played better at home. There's no doubt about that. And but you look at the past 2 years of this game; it's been very close. It's been very high scoring. It's been 2 shootouts the last 2 years. So I kind of expect the same thing again this year. Is this Alabama team better than the last 2 teams the last 2 years? I don't really think so. Right now they're playing much, much worse. Now this Texas A&M team, are they better or worse than they have been? Probably not quite as good as the last 2 years, but you see what they're capable of with Kenny Hill at quarterback. So, again, can Alabama establish the run? I think that's the thing that I'm going to be looking at in the first half to see if Alabama can do that. Can they get T.J. Yeldon going? Can they get Derrick Henry going? If they can, I think they'll run away with this game and be in control of it for most of the game. But if their running game struggles like it did against Arkansas, I really think Texas A&M can move the ball through the air against this Alabama team, and I think it'll be possible. If Alabama's not careful, they can get beat by 2 touchdowns if they play like they did last week.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program. What do you think out there? Does Alabama get it done, continue to keep their playoff hopes alive, or does A&M come in and stun Alabama and really put the Crimson Tide up against the wall with 2 losses? You got to start thinking that you're probably out of the Western Division race at that point, and more than likely out of the national championship hunt really halfway through the season. So, it can affect, and I think that's something that we need to look at too, Andy. How will this playoff and knowing that you may not have a chance to make it this soon in the season with a loss affect your psyche and affect the way you play the rest of the year? Because, sometimes when you got a lot to play for and you still got everything on the line, you go out and you lay it on the line. When the rug's pulled out from under you, how do you respond? You'll just be playing for a bowl game in your pride at that point. I know still a lot of big football games, but when you take the prize away, it really can affect teams negatively.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, and especially in college. And right now, this new playoff system that we're all talking about, everybody's desiring to be a part of that. And we talked about this yesterday on Sports Call. Right now, a lot of teams have already eliminated themselves, but there are so many teams right there at the top. You look down to the top 14 or 15 teams, everybody with 1 loss there. There are about 6 teams that are undefeated, but everybody understanding that they cannot afford, they cannot afford a loss right now. The regular season is still as important as it's always been. And, you're just trying to week in and week out, trying to, a battle of attrition to work your way into that 14 playoff.
Absolutely. And again, we want to hear from you, 256-234-6221, your thoughts on this game, any other games out there that you're interested in, as we'll break those down here in the second hour of the Saturday Sports Countdown. It is, again, a different world that we live in college football now with this 4-team playoff. And I don't know. I think Texas A&M can get it done, but like Luke said, what have they really proven? What have they done this year when they've had a test? They haven't passed it really outside the first week of the season on the road at South Carolina. I got so tired for a month and a half seeing the preview of the Texas A&M South Carolina game on ESPN and on the SEC Network when it finally came on the air, and then South Carolina lays a huge egg, and then we find out now as the year goes on they're not very good, or not near as good as we all thought they would be. And then now on down the line, we find out that win wasn't as big for Texas A&M as we thought. So you just thought from week to week, you just don't know. It'll be the team that comes in, obviously, and doesn't turn the football over, and they can control the line of scrimmage. And right now, Alabama struggled running the football against Arkansas. You said just a minute ago you didn't know if their defense is much better than Arkansas's or Texas A&M's defense, and vice versa. So if Alabama comes out and struggles running the ball again today, Andy, they're going to be soul-searching a little bit.
I think so. And, we keep talking about we said at the beginning of the season, Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban. We've already seen that relationship, how strained it can be, especially on the sideline. There's talk here or there. Nick Saban's blowing up in the press conference. It's just there's some ingredients there for the meltdown to begin between the Lane Kiffin offense and Nick Saban and the way he wants to run his program. So they better win today or it's going to get ugly, I think, the rest of the season.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion. Take your phone calls. You're listening to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Clear.
Lunch doesn't have to be the same old fast food or burgers in your busy day. Big B Barbecue has a great meal at a great price with a lunch special to prove it. Big B Barbecue is offering a meat and 2 vegetable lunch plate for $6.99. Not enough for you? How about a meat and 3 vegetable plate for only $7.99? Not a meat lover? No worries. You can get a veggie plate for only $5.99. Big B Barbecue lunch special is offered Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. Located at 1626 Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Over the years, S&S Tires has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Arctic Air and Heat, located in Jackson Gap on Highway 280. Mr. Darryl Kazai invites you to call him. Now, folks, the cold weather's coming. That's a fact. Now, he is your rain dealer. That's RHEEM. His number is 256-794-4341. That's Darryl Kazai. Ask him about central heating and air. Central heating and air. That's 256-794-4341. Kazaya, Darryl Kazaya.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. Whether you call in, click in, or walk in, I sincerely look forward to hearing from you.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard, Andy Graham here with you for a little bit less than an hour now at JR Sports Bar and Grill every Saturday morning for the Saturday Sports Countdown. You can be part of the program. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. The prediction is Alabama, Texas A&M. Tiebreaker will be Blake Sims passing yards, and you can tweet us out there. You can send us a message on Facebook. If you don't like to call in, we know so many of you out there listen to us and watch us on TV throughout the state on Charter Channel 80 and Channel 3 here locally in the Lake Martin area. And you don't have to call us. You can send us messages that way, interact with us on social media, and a lot of people do that. Andy, we talked about this on Sports Call yesterday, so let's start again. Scenarios, because I think it's realistic to start talking about scenarios. You just came up with one, I think, that you didn't bring up yesterday, and I think everybody will be interested to hear, and maybe we'll generate some interest. I'll let you go ahead and kind of break this down for us.
Well, I just happened to notice a while ago on the ticker on ESPN, they had the power index for the SEC, and Auburn was number 1. Mississippi State was number 5, I think, and they were talking about going in, this all factors in schedule and everything moving forward, and who's the best team or the most powerful team moving forward throughout the season. Well, here's a scenario that's very realistic and very possible. If Mississippi State goes undefeated and goes 12-0, and Auburn were to win out as well, you would have a 12-0 Mississippi State team in the SEC title game, and you'd have an 11-1 Auburn team outside looking in. Now, Mississippi State, I think it's hard to predict right now, but I think we can all probably say Georgia's the best team in the East. They would probably win that game by default, even with a loss to Auburn, because they would have beaten Kentucky, obviously. So you'd have a 10-2 Georgia team playing a 12-0 Mississippi State team in the SEC title game. What if Georgia beats Mississippi State? So you have a 11-2 Georgia SEC champion, and you can't deny them, I don't think, an opportunity at the playoff, having won the SEC, the toughest conference in the country. And then you have a loser there, Mississippi State, at 12-1, having been number 1 in the country for the last half of the season. And you got an 11-1 Auburn team that has beaten Georgia and has won beaten 3 top 10 teams to finish the season in Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama on the road. So you got 3 teams right there in the SEC and people keep talking about, can 2 teams from the SEC get in the playoff?
What about 3?
How about 3? And now if Florida State goes undefeated and Baylor goes undefeated, Auburn is probably going to get to shaft. But if both of those teams don't end up undefeated, how do you keep those 3 teams out of the playoffs?
It could be nightmare of epic proportions for this committee to start the inaugural playoff for college football that we all longed for so many years, because we thought the BCS was a bunch of BS, because especially Auburn fans in 2004 got left out and, couldn't ever jump over Oklahoma or USC. I think after the Alabama game that year, we actually pulled into a tie with Oklahoma. And then we went on to beat Tennessee in the SEC championship game. We dropped back to 3. So, just kind of people since 04 been longing for a playoff. Well, here it is. And now you're going to see there are going to be so many cases made for an opportunity to get into this 4-team playoff. And there is no set of circumstances. They have a set of guidelines that they're going to go by. But like you said, Andy, you can't think of all these scenarios. You can't come up with – we've already come up with 50 in the last day and a half,
hours,
the last 24 hours. So who knows how to play out. It could end up that way. Chances are it will not, but it could. And if they do, they have a very tough decision to make.
Well, what have we talked about? What have they come out and said? This committee, we want to make this the 4 best teams in college football, no matter what conference they come from.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what anything. We want the 4 best teams in the country. Are you telling me that the SEC champion, a 1-loss Mississippi State team with 12-1, and a 1-loss Auburn team at 11-1, that had just beaten 3 top 10 teams,
and that played in a national championship game last year?
You tell me those 3 are not the 3 best teams in the country? I find that shocking. I don't know how you could say with a straight face.
Can Georgia do that?
Not.
Can Georgia pull that run off? Now look at it from this point on. That's your X factor. can they make the run? And over in Georgia with Mississippi State in the Georgia Dome, can they win that SEC championship game? I think
Absolutely.
they can. I think they can.
Mississippi State haven't been there since '98.
That's right.
They're this is a prime opportunity to choke.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the one thing that everybody hadn't bought into is they don't feel like Mississippi State can run this gauntlet. Ole Miss probably can't run the gauntlet. Auburn may have another loss, maybe 2 on the horizon. Georgia, we know what kind of year they tend to have when things are on the line. They've already disappointed Georgia fans already with a loss to South Carolina. So, it's so unpredictable.
Well, couldn't you see it, though? Georgia makes the SEC title game. Mississippi State, undefeated, makes the title game. And all of a sudden, they clear Todd Gurley. He gets to play in the title game. Well, I can see it developing now.
Well, if Nick Chubb continues to do what he did last week and he has another good performance on the road at Arkansas, how quick you can forget somebody. I mean, it is amazing how quickly you can be lost in the mix of fans' minds when the next guy steps up and takes your place. Well, give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what you feel like some of those scenarios could be coming down the stretch because, look, I can already go ahead and see that Georgia's going to make the SEC championship game unless Kentucky does something just unbelievable and continues this streak. Now, they've got 2 weeks here to prove whether they're a pretender or a contender. And I'm talking about the Kentucky Wildcats, and I know we're not in basketball season. They go on the road. If there's ever a chance for Kentucky to win in LSU, it's this year. Okay, LSU's not very good or as good as they have been. It's still on the road at LSU, but Kentucky's playing really good football. They can win that game. They can come back to home to Lexington next week and welcome in Mississippi State. And Mississippi State with a week off could come in flat, and they could beat them. And now we're talking about Kentucky winning the SEC East. And so, I mean, the next 2 weeks is going to be extremely interesting for a lot of teams. There's going to be a lot of teams out of it, Andy, and there's going to be some that step to the forefront and prove they are deserving of a shot at that 14 playoff.
And every team that gets knocked out, every team that gets that second loss is now a spoiler. And you talk about spoilers in the SEC. When LSU is a spoiler, when Arkansas is a spoiler, when Auburn could possibly end up being a spoiler, for Alabama could end up being a spoiler for somebody. I mean, we're not talking about just your Iowa States out here trying to beat. We're talking about really, really good teams with really, really good athletes, just waiting for you in the wings to destroy your season and destroy your chance. It could be it could be a fantastic finish here as we head down the line.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Kansas State and Oklahoma have kicked off. It is 0-0 early in this game. We'll keep you posted here throughout this hour on how that game is going. No SEC game kicked off yet. Mississippi State and Auburn both off this week. Auburn gets back into action next Saturday. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Auburn Tigers during this week off and maybe some of the things that they're pointing to work on as they'll have a tough stretch. This is the last off week they have until after possibly a shot at an SEC championship game. So a lot of football left to play for the Auburn Tigers. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's right after this.
You are clear. And by the way, South Carolina leads Furman 7-0, 9 minutes ago.
South Carolina. I didn't even put that one on the list.
Central Alabama Community College is proud to be one of Alabama's 5 original community colleges. Central Alabama combines innovation, flexibility, tradition, and the latest technology to provide a quality education tailored to meet anyone's needs. Whether your aim is a 2-year degree or a jump start on a 4-year degree, you can feel confident that you will leave Central Alabama with a sharper focus on life. Find out more about the world of opportunity that can be yours. And remember, Central Alabama, central to you.
Central to your success.
Halloween is not the scariest thing in fall. Your football team blowing the big game isn't that bad. If you want terror this season, just let your boat not get winterized. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South can save you that unwanted terror by winterizing all makes, models, and types of boats to ensure you don't have the bad luck of the Irish in March. Alex City Marine specializes in all inboards and outboards for the cold weather and now offers custom shrink wraps to protect everything for the winter and preserve your peace of mind. Don't let old man winter get to your boat. Go to the place the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City or Alex City Marine South just before or after the Kowaliga Bridge in Eclectic.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. In all sports, it takes hard work, passion, and teamwork. That's how we have treated our customers for over 45 years. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884, riverregionsportsfields.com.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, locally owned and operated, is your trained comfort specialist dealer, giving you the best equipment available for heating and cooling your home. If you're not getting what you need from a tired old unit, now is a great time to get a Train, one of the industry's most efficient and reliable units. It's hard to stop a Train. Get 0% financing for 15 months on qualifying XL units. Or if your unit just needs some work, call Dwayne Britton at Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. They service all brands. Call 256-234-5052.
Call on Sperlin Recycling for all the recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Receive top dollar for all that scrap metal lying around. Sperlin Recycling.
Yes, we're back here on Saturday Sports Countdown. No, there we go.
No. Hold on. Sorry. And 3, 2, 1.
Now in the street there is violence, and lots of work to be done.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Again, want to thank everybody for listening over in the Auburn, Opelika area, 95.9 FM, 97.5 here in Alex City in the Lake Martin area, and then statewide on Charter Channel 80 as you watch us each and every week. Saturday Sports Countdown, about 35, 40 minutes left in the show today. And as we were at break, about as devastating of a play for Oklahoma as you can get as they just bust one down the sideline. But Trevor Knight goes out with an apparent separated shoulder, it looks like. And then in the same play, they lose a lineman to targeting. And it was targeting. I don't know what Bob Stoops is arguing about. That was directly crown to crown head targeting there, Andy. And
I think it was ended up being a tight end.
Tight end, okay.
But yeah, he's now on Electric Avenue. He is no longer in the game.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Auburn with an off week. Let's just talk about them for just a second. Some things to work on for the Auburn Tigers. Offensive line, got to get a little bit better up front. Got to block a little bit better, Andy. And on passing, last 4 games, Nick Marshall been getting his passes batted down. Got to get those arms down, those defensive linemen blocking those passing lanes, and defense got to get some pressure. Right now, can't get any pressure up front outside of blitz, and need to figure out how they can get some pressure up front.
Yeah, we need to figure out what we're doing on the offensive line. I mean, Pat Miller goes out We bring in Devontae Danzy at guard. We're moving Avery Young around. We're moving, Chad Slade around. Now we're talking about Braden Smith working out at guard a little bit. We need to figure out, what the line's going to be and go with it. We need to figure out who our best five are and just let them play and find out, and let them try to gel, in the second half of the season here, because I'm not sure we ever have quite done that up to this point. Like you said, just the tip passes. I mean, when you have one or two a season, it's going to happen, but this is becoming a big problem.
It's been a chronic problem for Auburn in the last 4 games. And
Nick Marshall's got 3 interceptions on the year. All of them have been tipped.
Yeah, and again, you don't know where those passes are going to end up. You won't know now. But one of the things that Auburn's got to do a better job is they've got to be able to get the hands down of those defensive linemen, and on defense they got to figure out a pass rush. They got to figure out a way to get inside and get some pressure and not leave our corners on man-to-man coverage. But so far, they've lived up to the bill. And but in the SEC, in this schedule with the road games we've got. You need to really be working on trying to get some pass rush, because you're gambling a lot when you go man coverage in this league.
Absolutely. And look, we may just have to blitz. I mean, it's obvious now. We've now started president at one defensive end. Devontae Lambert has emerged as the other. It's going to be, that may just be what we have to do. But if every single third down, I'm saying bring the house, because like you said, our corners have, I think, proven themselves. We're gonna garner some penalties every now and then. You just do that when you play a lot of man-to-man coverage. But I think we play physical. We play pretty good, solid man-to-man coverage, better than we have in quite a while. And I think that a lot is due to Melvin Smith. He's done a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. You go back to Mississippi State, they had Thorpe Award winner. In the secondaries, they were known for being a fantastic secondary. Now Auburn is playing very good secondary. Mississippi State's giving up 320 yards passing a game. What's the difference? It's Melvin Smith. I think he is an unsung hero right now for this Auburn defense.
256-234-6221. Do we see a shakeup in the offensive line for Auburn? Braden Smith?
I think if he's your best guy, put him out there. I mean, he looks like Hercules, okay? We all know that.
Well, they call him Drago.
But and you watched him. They played him a little tight end here in the Mississippi State game, and he's destroyed some guys out there. Now, he's going to make some mistakes because he's a true freshman.
Yeah, but he is.
If he's your best guy, put him in there and let him play.
Well, Braden Smith, you got to get him in if he can contribute this year. I know we had a question earlier about Carl Lawson. Have we heard anything about Carl Lawson? Got a tweet on that. They just haven't heard anything, and I don't know. I mean, here's the deal with Carl Lawson. If you can get back healthy this year and contribute, and Auburn's in a national championship race, then I think you bring him back in, because, look, if you hold him out to next year, he plays one more year, and he's healthy next year, he's gone anyway. So it's not like you're wasting anything. You bring Carl Lawson in, he brings a pass rush that Auburn lacks, and then you use him next year, and then he goes on to the NFL, because he's got a long NFL career ahead of him. I think that's very obvious, Andy. So
he's got to be 100% healthy.
He does. I mean, that's why I don't think you rush him back. I mean, I've heard earliest Ole Miss, which would be the end of this month. I don't know. As Trevor Knight runs back on the field, looks like he may have gone in and gotten looked at in the locker room. He'll be back on the field, it looks like, here in a little bit for Oklahoma. Oklahoma leads now, I believe, 6-0, and there's a penalty flag there early in this game. It's weird how some of these plays in games that look devastating for Oklahoma just a minute ago, it sparked them. It looked like it may have given them a spark. So just interesting to see how some teams respond to certain plays and how they come back. But Oklahoma and Kansas State, we do have an SEC team in action. It's South Carolina and Furman. How in the world did we miss that?
How could you forget about that?
So it's two powerhouses right now.
South Carolina up 7, I believe,
up
7-0.
256-234-6221 up against a break here. I just got a text. Braden Smith is H-back. Awesome. I mean, that's, when's the last time you saw a 6'8" H-back? Huh?
Never.
I mean, a mammoth human being. And look, when you look at him, He has no fat on him at all.
None.
I'm talking about none. And he is a big guy. A big get for Auburn on signing day, Landon Braden Smith. About 30 minutes left in today's show. A beautiful day out there. Get out and about. We're at JR Sports Bar and Grill with you till noon. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's right after this.
All right, got about 45, a little less.
A little less. That's good.
$15. And 3, 2, 1.
Very superstitious.
Welcome back to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. 30 minutes left in today's show. It's an outstanding day outside. Get out and about. A lot of you on the road heading to Alabama to watch Alabama and Texas A&M. Auburn off this week, obviously. They'll be back in action next week in Auburn against South Carolina. South Carolina has kicked off. They play Furman today. It's like basically a week off for them.
They're up 14-7 now with 5 minutes to play in the first
Maybe
quarter.
they're not taking a week off. Maybe it's going to be a little bit closer than we thought. I give up this year on trying to make a prediction on what's going to happen. Oklahoma's up on Kansas State early. That's a big game that's already kicked off today in college football. There's a lot of big games on tap today. Andy, this is a great time to just run some of these down. Let's start with Arizona State and Stanford. I'll go down this list in order. That's a late game tonight at 9:30. Stanford struggles offensively. Arizona State at home. I like Arizona State in this game at home.
Yeah, I do too. Arizona State, their only loss on the season. They were playing with UCLA. It was a tight game, and then all of a sudden things just got away from Arizona State. It just exploded for UCLA, and they ended up putting, I think, 62 up on Arizona on the Sun Devils. So I think they've recovered from that. They're playing well. They can put up points. They have a pretty good spread offense. Stanford. I don't think Stanford's quite the team that they were the last couple of years. I like Arizona State in this game too.
Moving on down the line, Oregon. They could be out of the playoff mix with a loss at home to Washington. We've already seen Washington State come in and have a shot to beat them. They narrowly escaped, but they do have a loss. Both these teams 5-1. That game on Fox Sports 1 tonight at 7 o'clock. Does Mariota get it done at home? Washington's got a good defense, but are they good enough?
I think Washington has a very good defense. I love Chris Peterson. I think he's done a fantastic job there. I think they'll do. He'll continue to do this. Just his first year there in Washington. So I think they're only going to get better and better. But I just don't see them going in 2 outs in Stadium. Oregon got on track a little bit. They get their left tackle back this week. Marcus Mariota gets it done.
West Virginia and Baylor are tied at 7. That's a hard place to go into in West Virginia. Everybody talked about that. It's going to be a shootout up there. Obviously, it's going to be an offensive juggernaut back and forth. Can West Virginia keep up with Art Briles' offensive powerhouse in Baylor? It's tied at 7 apiece right now. Oklahoma up 7-0 over Kansas State. Getting toward the end of the first quarter there. Obviously, if Kansas State wins this game, it makes Auburn look really good. And you're looking at strength of schedule. You want your common opponents. You want your opponents to continue to win. It builds your resume up. And right now, Kansas State on the road has a tough test against Oklahoma. Let's move on down the line. This one tonight, Notre Dame at Florida State. Once again, the drama, the soap opera of Jameis Winston off the field. Does it finally catch up to them, or does Notre Dame have enough weapons in the arsenal to go down to Tallahassee and get a win?
I think Notre Dame will do some things to confuse him early, but as much as Florida State has struggled this year, they can still throw the ball extremely well. They end up throwing the ball for 300 yards every game. I think Florida State's just got one too many athletes for Notre Dame right now. I think it's a close game, but I think Florida State pulls away in the fourth quarter. I would love to see Notre Dame win this game, but and I don't say that very often, but I will say that I believe Florida State pulls this game out in the end.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program here. Move on down the line. I said this earlier. You cut me off. Tennessee at Ole Miss. Any chance? You said I didn't even get chance out. You said no.
No, none whatsoever. You look at Tennessee cannot run the ball. They just absolutely cannot run the ball. And Ole Miss, if for nothing else, they have a wonderful defense. They will shut down Tennessee. They'll shut down Justin Worley.
Tennessee will shut themselves down. How
Tennessee
about that?
will help out with the matter. There's no doubt about it. And as long as Kansas State just scores a touchdown, there you go. They'll as long as Bo Wallace doesn't turn the ball over 7 times, Ole Miss wins this game by 2 touchdowns.
Missouri at Florida. Florida has a coming out party, in my opinion. I know everybody may say, well, hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Treon Harris is going to come in the game. I know you saw a sign earlier that said Jeff Driscoll paid me to get his autograph instead of Jameis Winston on the flip side. That's how bad Jeff Driscoll has played for Florida, but Missouri's terrible. They've lost horrible twice at home, once to Indiana. The other one was a thrashing by Georgia. Missouri gets another thrashing at the hands of Florida. And you know what? You never know what a turnaround. If you go in and really whip somebody, Andy, it could turn you around. Will Muschamp needs a big win.
But yeah, that's for sure. I just don't think Florida's offense is good enough to come out against anybody. I don't think Florida's capable of having it coming out right now because they're so dysfunctional. Like you start playing musical chairs with the quarterback. They've got a pretty good receiver in Demarcus Robinson, I believe, and Matt Jones does a fairly decent job running the ball. But I don't trust Florida at all. I think this game's extremely close. I thought Florida would pull it out against LSU. I thought that game would be close. So I'm going to go against you. I'm going to say Missouri pulls this out with a field goal in the game.
Missouri pulls it out with a field goal. Boy, pillow fight in Gainesville again. Kentucky at LSU. Here's the 2-game stretch for Kentucky to decide or send a message to the rest of the nation that they are maybe a semi-contender and not a pretender like they have been the entire history of their program. They got to go to LSU. The best time in the world for a Kentucky team to go to LSU. LSU's not that good. It'll still be loud, but they can play with this LSU team because they struggle at quarterback. Then they come back home next week to Lexington. Mississippi State comes in. If they win those 2 games, Andy, just take everything we have and wad it up and throw it away.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Set it
tell you.
on fire. Yeah, that's because it would turn the world upside down if that happened.
It just give you another scenario to bring
it
up.
really would. It really would. And I've already said, hey, what about Kentucky in the playoff? That would be a bizarre set of circumstances. Look, Kentucky has played great this year. They're playing over their heads, but you can obviously see Mark Stoops has done a fantastic job recruiting. The athletes look so much better. Kentucky, if nothing else, is much more competitive. You have to kind of step back, and I think in this day and age, we have to get ourselves out of this whole mold of, well, Kentucky can't do this. Well, Kentucky can't do. They can go in and beat LSU right now because LSU, while Leonard Fournette got on track a little bit, they look like they're going to turn him loose now and run the ball a little bit better. I think Kentucky can score. They have enough athletes to go in. This LSU defense, we saw this firsthand. They're one of the worst we've seen in a long time in Baton Rouge. So I don't know if Kentucky's ready mentally to go in there and win, but right now I'd say they're the better team. So I say Kentucky by a field goal.
How about that? 256-234-6221. That means a couple of East teams will knock that Western Division streak down. So we'll continue on here in just a little bit. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's right after this.
You are clear.
A groovy Saturday afternoon.
What?
That's right.
Yeah, he got me. Yeah, he's got me. What you doing with the boy, Reed? Just out and about cruising? Watching what? Good, bro. Yeah. Not too bad. That's a wild one last night, wasn't it? That's a wild one last night, wasn't it?
I agree. We're going to play more games than Benjamin Russell by the time this is over.
Okay, got about 45. $15.
Oh.
10. Here you go. 3, 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard, Andy Graham here with you for about 15 or so more minutes, and we'd love to hear from you. Prediction is Alabama, Texas A&M. Tiebreaker is Blake Sims passing yards. That is the game at 2:30 on CBS. We're running down some of these other games, Andy. We'd love for all of you to call in, send us a tweet. It's at Sportz Blitz, sports with a Z. You can shoot us your prediction that way. Let's talk some more here. Just got to mention UAB Middle Tennessee. Okay, UAB 4-2, Middle Tennessee 4-3. If UAB wins this game, they are well on their way to a bowl game, Andy.
A big Conference USA matchup. Middle Tennessee can score the football, but UAB, it's kind of funny when you think about it. UAB may have played Mississippi State their toughest game. Going to
they played them tougher. It was closer than the Auburn game.
I mean, this UAB team, Bill Clark, is
tremendous coach.
Unfortunately, he is so good. He's probably not going to be at UAB long.
That's true.
That's the unfortunate thing about all this. But he's got UAB poised right now, directly, headed to a bowl game. So kudos to them. They still got a lot of football to play. And like you said, there's nothing guaranteed anywhere, certainly. But it'd be great for UAB to go in there and win that game today.
Still an update there. 7-7 Kansas State and Oklahoma. Let me just say this. Kansas State, tough. That was an impressive team win for Auburn, even though Auburn didn't play real well. Bill Snyder, 75 years old. And, I mean, when he took a few years off, that Kansas State team dropped off, and now he's back, man. It is all about your coach. It is all about discipline in a program and what you instill in teams, and they're on the move. They got a very talented offense, and they can move the football. I thought Oklahoma would hold serve at home, and they may still do it. But Kansas State they're a good football team that is coached by one of the better coaches out there, in my opinion.
Crafty. He's crafty.
There he goes, crafty. Crafty. Here's a crafty one for you. Georgia at Arkansas. What's the streak? 26?
26 in a row, yeah, for Western Division teams.
Right this year, 26-0. And does Georgia go in and end that?
I'm telling you, I've got a good – sooner or later, Arkansas is going to break through. They're just –
you just hope it's not against you, don't you?
That's right. They have improved so much. And I just feel like Georgia is the kind of team, and I've seen it so many times over and over again, whenever they have a great game, when they look like they're in a dominant mode, when they come out and play extremely well the next week, they always seem to lay an egg. And I just feel like this is that week. And I'm going with Arkansas. I'm going to go with the upset. I think the Hogs finally break through, get the first, SEC win in the Bielema era. First time they've won an SEC game in 14 or 15 tries. SEC Western Division streak continues to 27-0. It may go down when Kentucky wins. I don't know, but at least I don't know. I just got a feeling about it. I'm picking Arkansas.
Have you changed your mind yet on Tennessee yet?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. I want to go back and ask you one more time in case you wanted to change your mind. Still no chance for the Vols over at Oxford today. We'll end up here, Andy, and finish up with Texas A&M at Alabama. And then the game on tap at 2:30. CBS, Kenny Hill and his prolific offense that puts up over 400 yards in the air against Ole Miss, still lose the football game. Your thoughts on this game? Luke's over there. We heard from him earlier in the show that he feels like that he doesn't understand why the odds have gone up in Alabama's favor to 14 now. That's the point spread over Texas A&M. I got a text from my dad. He said the difference is the defense for Alabama. He feels like the point spread is where it needs to be. And that may end up being the case, and Blake Sims tends to play better at home than he does on the road, as does a lot of quarterbacks out there. Maybe that's what Vegas is thinking.
Well, Luke brought up a good point. Alabama does play these spread offenses better and better, and they have, held a lot of these teams to under their average, even though they're giving up a lot of yards. That's true, but it's not true against Texas A&M. Texas A&M team put up 600 yards against Alabama 2 years ago. They put up about 500 yards last year. So, for whatever reason, the Kevin Sumlin offense gives Saban more trouble than anybody else. I think Texas A&M can move the ball. I think they can score on this Alabama team. The question is, can Alabama run the ball? And that'll be what you need to watch for when this game begins. If Alabama can run the ball and control the line of scrimmage, they'll probably win this game. If they can't, I think they probably have an opportunity to get beat 10 to 14 points. Now, that's just my opinion. But and again, here's that upset. I'm going with Texas A&M.
Let me just say this. When was the last time you looked up about midway through the third quarter, Alabama had 26 yards rushing?
Never.
I mean, it was,
Does Mike Shula ring a bell?
Yeah. Well, I remember and correct me if I'm wrong, in 2009 when Auburn and Alabama played each other, Mark Ingram struggled to do anything on the ground. Alabama found themselves down late in that game, was able to come back and win, and then end up winning the national championship. But I can't remember a game since then where Alabama really struggled to run the football. Are they finding – what's the problem with the running game right now, Franny? Is it Yeldon? Is it Derrick Henry? Are they waiting for somebody to step up? What's the problem?
No Ryan Kelly last week was a big problem. I don't think he's going to play today as well. And that offensive line is just simply not as good as it has been the last 4 or 5 years.
One more segment here on a beautiful Saturday morning here in downtown Alex City at JR Sports Bar and Grill. Come in and get some great food. The place is filling up. Call in, get your order, 256-329-2328. One more segment left here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Clear.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Got about a minute 10.
Oh, goodness sakes.
That was beautiful.
That's a good throw by Trevor Knight on That's about as easy of a touchdown as you can get right there. Yeah. Man. Watch it. I mean, did he not look over there and see the guy had the inside?
That's the guy that Quill Weaver beat on the
I know it.
slant and go.
He didn't beat him there.
No. He learned his lesson.
20. Okay, guys, you're going to have about 4.5 minutes here to finish up.
10-4.
And a 3, and a 2, and a 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sportz Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. A few minutes left in today's show. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. The prediction, Alabama, Texas A&M. The tiebreaker is Blake Sims passing yards. You can tweet us out there at Sportz Blitz, and it's sports with the Z. You can send us a Facebook message as well if you don't like to call in. And let's recap some of these high school scores again from around this area. Benjamin Russell, a big win, 44-28 over Valley last night. Woodland defeated Horseshoe Bend 30-7. Elmore County defeats Davil 14-9 in a really the most roller coaster season I can remember for the Davil Tigers. Reeltown, a huge win over a very good Randolph County team, 28-14. Wetumpka defeats Northview 27-20. Tallahassee falls to Beauregard 49-34 in a offensive shootout down there in a region matchup, a matchup between two good teams. Stanhope Elmore over Carroll of Ozark 41-13. Again, the Auburn Tigers, high school Tigers, with a big win over Prattville last night, kept them alive, and they now make the playoffs again for the 14th consecutive year with that win over Prattville. Their region record's 3-2. Doesn't matter about your overall record. Their region record's 3-2. Phoenix City narrowly hangs on over Jeff Davis, who's much improved, 31-20. Maybe a semi-shocker last night. Spanish Fort Falls, they 31-game winning streak out the door now. Daphne, the team they split from, beats them 7-0.
Yeah, a very interesting night in high school football. Like you said, it's coming to a close here. Some teams have one game left. Some teams have 2 games left. What's the Davil record right now?
That's a good question. It may be either 4-4 or
it'll be interesting to see.
5-4, one of the two.
They beat Leeds, and obviously they're going to have an opportunity. You can see the level that they can play at.
They just haven't been able to do anything offensively consistently. Some games they show up, some games they don't, Andy, but defense has been there all year.
Can they go deeper in the playoffs this year with a worse record than they've had in 6 or 7 years? I mean, and Auburn Tigers, the Auburn Baby Tigers, can they go back, and how far deep can they go in the playoffs?
Scary if they turn it around.
With a 3-win season. I mean, it's incredible. High school football is just it's you never know week to week.
It's not as bad as it used to be when we were in high school and had area play. There were some teams that went 3-7 and got in the playoffs. I mean, really. Because you won your area games. Now you got to be a little bit better than that. But Auburn,
not a lot better.
Not a lot better. They still have a losing record, but 3-2 in the region. Got Smith Station left. You know what? They're in. And that's the scary thing for somebody, because they're going to come to somebody's house with a lot of talent. And if you don't show up to play, they could spoil your playoff chances. Andy, a couple more minutes left in the program. It's been a great show, and we appreciate the calls and everybody out there listening and watching throughout the state. Beautiful Saturday morning. A lot of things going on. A Halloween carnival down there at Wind Creek State Park. It's always a huge event down there, and just a lot of things to do out and about whether you're in Alexander City or over in the Auburn, Opelika area. Auburn off today. Alabama will be in action at 2:30 against Texas A&M. And you can continue to tweet us and put that on Facebook, your predictions throughout the day until kickoff, and we'll take those in. Remember, it's at Sportz Blitz, and that's sports with a Z. And it's been fun up here, man.
I've enjoyed it. It's my favorite. This is why it's such a great time of year. The weather cools off. You got Halloween carnivals, fall fest,
everything.
College football's going on, high school football. It's a great time of year.
For Daniel Best and Justin Clayton back in the studio, from my broadcast partner, Andy Gray, and I'm Brett Pritchard saying, get out and enjoy this beautiful Saturday. We enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
And you're out. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, Andy.